Coming up on Theater Talk.
Are George and Gil mobbed at the end of the show now with the stage door Johnnies wanting autographs that they're going to sell on eBay?
Well, George and Gil are also autograph sellers themselves.
Yes.
So they have some Mary Louise Parker glossies. They actually tunnel out and they go wait outside Heisenberg.
Theater Talk is made possible in part by the CUNY TV Foundation.
You know what an audience like is to be screamed at?
Yes, screaming is key to theater. Do you want to know why, Karen? Because I cannot afford Microsoft Word.
My baby. My chair, baby. He killed him. Woo!
That is, of course, from Ionesco's Chairs. And
From New York City, this is Theater Talk. I'm Susan Haskins.
And I'm Michael Riedel of the New York Post. Now, there's a terrific new comedy on Broadway called Oh, Hello. It has made overnight stars of Gil Faison and George St. Geegland. Unfortunately, despite our desperate attempts to get them on the show, they're a little too booked these days.
No.
So, I mean, I hate to tell you guys, but we kind of got the B list here. We're joined by Nick Kroll and John Mulaney, I believe.
That's correct,
Sort of
yes.
in for Gil and George, right?
Yes, we're producing the show, and so we are here in their stead.
Yeah. So tell me, guys, what's it like to work with Gil and George? I mean, now that they've become Broadway sensations overnight.
Well, it's, you know, I wouldn't say Stockholm Syndrome. I mean, we're sort of, they're very abusive to us.
Really?
And I think if the show hadn't landed on Broadway, if the money weren't coming in, we'd make other decisions.
You'd
but we're a
walk
little
out.
handcuffed now, yeah.
Yeah, you're trapped.
Yeah.
We don't have many other options.
Can you tell us a little bit about Gil and George?
They are Gil Faison, who I guess I am the surrogate for today, is a Tony Award viewing actor. And whether he lives in your building or not, he is somehow on your co-op board.
Yes.
Is how I would describe him.
I'm here to speak for George St. Geegland, their castar, as they say, of this show. He is a novelist. He's been compared to Philip Roth. He's also been compared to several sketches of the Riverside Park Flasher.
Yes.
And he's the type of guy you would catch at a party going through the coats.
Yes.
He is now also a Broadway actor somehow.
Right.
So
Yes, even though
we're figuring that out.
George is a writer by trade and Gil is
Sure.
the actor, but George.
And they're both nearly homeless and live on ketchups that they've stolen.
And they've been roommates for
40
quite a while.
They've
right?
been roommates for 40 years in a rent-controlled apartment on the Upper West Side.
But we see in this play, I mean, their lives are about to be upended because they're losing the rent-controlled apartment. And
Yes,
very
they've been
well
paying
turned out.
$75 a month for it for 40
Yes,
years.
this is a very important social drama.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It is.
There was an article in the Times about 2 years ago how there's no middle class in Manhattan anymore, and this is sort of like about that, except it's not at all.
But I think to George and Gil, they've written a play that speaks to what is changing in New York and this loss
And
of
this
the
is
middle class. And the fact that they consider themselves middle class is the most entertaining part of it.
Yes.
Now, our floor manager, Joseph Montalbano, pointed out to me that if you change one letter, this is Othello.
Yes.
Yes.
Does that have any significance?
I mean, it is Shakespearean in any number of ways. In that
George
tragic
flies
dimensions.
George flies into violent rages and could easily kill Gil.
Yeah.
And they once did a blackface review that they don't want to talk
Yes.
about.
And
You guys are pretty young and successful. Where did the idea come from of these people who never made it?
well, we saw these two men. We were at the Strand bookstore, about 10 years ago, and we liked it, the Strand's slogan being 8 miles of books.
And 12 miles of loneliness.
And we saw these two men buying their individual copies of Alan Alda's autobiography, Never Have Your Dog Stuffed.
In hardcover, it had just come out.
And we watched them buy it, and then we followed them to a diner and watched them both read their individual copies of this Alda biography.
But these guys weren't together. They were
hanging out together,
hanging
but
out
they both
together.
had their own copy, and was like, wow, they won't share this book, but they likely share a Murphy bed. And we sort of they really sort of it was as if they just symbolized a kind of guy that both of us were interested in, and we began we began to produce a show where George and Gil performed every week at a club downtown called Rafifi, which was an alternative comedy club in the East Village. And then it grew from there, and we kept presenting George and Gil and over the years and let them perform on. I had a Comedy Central show, and we did a sketch with George and Gil where they would prank people with too much tuna fish. And then
That's the tag, right?
That is, yeah,
That is
too
the
much
tag.
tuna,
That's the hook.
and then we brought it to the Cherry Lane Theater last year off-Broadway, and
Toured it around the country after that, and now they're on Broadway.
Elizabeth Vincentali, now of the New York Times, who was the critic for the Post, raved about it here on this show, and that's why we reached out to you.
Yes.
Because
Is
it
there
has such good
is there
word of mouth.
existential significance to too much tuna? I mean, what does that symbolize?
That's a good question. I haven't thought about it before, but let's answer in real time.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a ruined lunch. And I think that's when you're George and Gil, you look forward to lunch so much. I think everyone looks forward to lunch.
Yes.
And to have too much tuna fish on your sandwich or on your salad niçoise, it's
unmanageable.
It's unmanageable. And you
Tuna-
have to take it off. Suddenly you're like an engineer.
Well, it's like tuna is this wet. It's the wettest of all sandwiches, and and you can't even bite into it. At least with like you can't even squish it down, and it flops out the side. And
It's unphotographable, as My Funny Valentine says.
This is New York in the 1970s.
Yes.
It's diner food of New York of
Yes.
another
And it's
era.
gray. It's just unmistakably
And
gray.
it's infused with mayonnaise, which
Yes.
in their era was considered edible.
yes,
Yes,
well,
and
mayonnaise.
healthy. Yeah.
Mayonnaise was a very chic item, and so there are all these things about it that are. And the smell, it's this crazy thing where it smells gross, but then it also smells delicious, and then it's structurally unsound. And so it just became this funny thing. And weirdly, tuna is something that is universal across the country. So, everywhere, whether you're a kid in Phoenix or not, you get too much tuna, you understand what that means. You don't have to be from New York to understand that.
Now, your show is directed by one of the hippest, most happening directors, Alex Timbers.
Yes.
When did he join up, and what did he bring to the table for Gil and George?
Well, he brought the ability for it to be a show. Gil and George came
Rather than a little sketch.
several coffee-stained yellowed notebooks filled with ideas.
We workshopped the show with Gil and George in LA last year before coming to Cherry Lane, and Alex was giving us his thoughts throughout. And then when we brought it here, what he brought, and we're now on Broadway, besides very like a beautiful visual sense and true understanding of what would work on a much grander scale.
Yes, and that's quite a set.
Yeah, he brought his
Yes,
whole
Scott
team.
Pass
So
brought quite a
Scott
beautiful
Pass did our set, and had done Book of Mormon and a number of other amazing shows, and our sound designer Mutt and our lighting guy Jake, and he put together his team of people who elevate George and Gil's very paltry, sad skill set, and then elevated it to Broadway. It's like if you're going to be on Broadway, people deserve to see a show that looks like it belongs on Broadway.
I think George and Gil would also like to whitewash some of the darker aspects of their relationship, but I think Alex sort of told all of us and them to dig into that and to really get to see every side of them.
Yes.
One thing I find interesting, though, about them, George and Gil, is they're, for lack of a better word, they're kind of life's losers, but they don't realize it themselves. And there's a kind
No
of
one does.
nobility in their just going on and thinking, doesn't matter what age I am, I could get that part tomorrow.
Yes.
My book might be published.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I keep going forward.
Oh, it's only a matter of time.
Yeah, it is.
only a matter
And
of
by
time,
the way,
you know?
they've been proven right. They have a show on Broadway now.
Exactly. Right. We had Albert Maysles on, and I said to him, the late, great Albert
Yes,
Maysles,
of course.
and I said to him, well, did you feel guilty sustaining this delusion on Edie Beale
Sure.
that you were going to make her a star? And he said, well, I did.
Yes.
And you made
Yes, we have made Gil and George a star. Gil and George keep bothering us to get set up with Edie and Little Edie. So, we'll see if we can.
I think that.
Oh, I think
yes.
Gil and George should do Grey Gardens the musical when they come back on Broadway.
I know. Well, they'll be there for they'll sneak in for the second act.
Yeah.
Well, listen,
That's
did you read the New York Times story? Gil and George's world is gone. They don't allow people to sneak in for the second act
I
of
know.
Broadway shows anymore.
Well, there
that
were-
really is the end of their world.
I know we had
They have now precautions to keep them out.
Are George and Gil mobbed at the end of the show now with the stage door Johnnies wanting autographs that they're going to sell on eBay?
Well, Gil and George are not allowed near most women, and so
George and Gil are also autograph sellers themselves.
Yes.
So they have some Mary Louise Parker glossies. And they actually tunnel out and they go wait outside Heisenberg.
Now, I want to say, Nick, I so admired your work in Sausage Party.
thank you.
You really found a huge, deep, and demonic truth
Thank
in
you.
your role as the douche. And you were quite fabulous, and,
Thank you.
I'm serious.
Thank you.
Don't take your children.
Don't
No.
or take your kids.
No, no,
got
don't.
dirty
But
Sneak in. You got dirty
Yeah.
kids. Sneak in. And tell your parents you're going to go see somebody else, and then sneak in to
But
the
it-
sausage
Cartoon.
party.
All right, the show is Oh Hello at the Lyceum Theater. Very, very funny, terrific reviews. It stars Gil Faison and George St. Griegland, who sadly couldn't be with us, but Gil and George, if you're watching this, you have a standing invitation to come on Theater Talk anytime. In the meantime, your surrogates, Nick Kroll and John Mulaney, looking out for your best interests, plugging away your show. Thanks, guys, for being our guest tonight on.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
having
both.
us.
yes, it's the hot ticket, so
And we'll see you
Do
in
not fail to
we'll
get
see
it.
you doing Grey Gardens,
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
the all-male version
Oh,
of
we'll
Grey
do it.
Gardens.
Here we
We'll
go.
do it.
who gets to wear the drapes?
Well, I think Gil is going to be forced to be the girl. Well, they're both
They're
ladies.
both-
They're both
Yeah, they're both ladies.
One character lays in bed more. So which would you rather be?
Yeah.
You want to walk? You want to dance around with a flag, or
Yeah. I am a staunch character.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
that's
I
it.
will.
All right. Well,
Take Little Lady.
we'll see you in that. Thanks, guys, for being
Thanks.
here.
Thank you.
We love the great traditions of the theater, and that is why we plan to pay homage to them tonight. For example, the one-sided phone call.
Ah, the one-sided phone call. This is when a character makes a phone call, but they do it in a very stagey way where they repeat the phone call information to the other characters. First, get a telephone no one would have in real life.
Oh, hello.
Then, please do way too much business with the phone. Really show the audience you've been working with the prop all week. And then, ladies and gentlemen, a one-sided phone call.
Oh, hello. Well, John, I'm sure. The police? That's who you are.
She put scissors in the garbage! What is this about scissors in that garbage?
Hey, I know how it looks, okay? But I know how it looks, but it's not what you think, I promise. Okay, I had to throw those scissors away because the tip was broken off. Honestly, they were never any good. I got them at Kmart. And,
Went out that door to empty the garbage.
Yeah?
Didn't come back. She got up and went to the
oh, you're right. I got up. I took the garbage out. The scissors are broken. I got them at Kmart. Same place you got that shirt.
So, Michael, we are going to talk about the longest running play in America.
Yes. Now they say somewhere on television there's an episode either of I Love Lucy or Murder, She Wrote. Well, somewhere in the world there is a production of Shear Madness. It began 37 years ago. I believe it's still playing.
A whole
37
lot.
years in Boston.
Let's see. Look at this. This is a list of all the productions.
Kansas City, Indianapolis, Houston, Zagreb, Reykjavik, Rome. My God, it's more successful
Paris.
than Phantom of the Opera. We have with us the creators of Shear Madness today. Welcome Marilyn Abrams.
Hello.
And Bruce Jordan.
Hi, Michael.
And one of the actors in Shear Madness, Jordan Ahnquist. And you've been with it for 37 years, correct, Jordan?
Exactly.
Welcome to Theater Talk.
No, but Jordan is helping them to celebrate the first anniversary of
In New
Shear
York
Madness.
City. Now, I must ask you, Marilyn, this show has been everywhere for all these years but New York City? What took you so long to get here? You've only been here a year.
Well, that's a very good question. We started out in Boston, and we were going to try out the show in Boston
Yeah, as
and
they
then
used to
bring
do
it
it
to
today.
New York. Bruce and I, we were in the show. We were the producers. We were doing all the jobs, and we were going to run for 8 weeks and come to New York. Well, what happened was we were doing so well in Boston that it seemed ridiculous to close the show, and we kept staying and staying and staying, and we got a little smarter. We learned how to run it and what to do, and we thought, gee, we don't know what to do in New York. Let's go to Philadelphia. And we went to Philadelphia and then to Chicago and then to Washington, D.C., and we're still in Washington at the Kennedy Center. And we felt that we knew how to handle a show in a small city, but we didn't know if we were quite prepared for New York. So we've had a lot of stops along the way.
What is the enduring appeal of Shear Madness, which we should say is a whodunnit set in a
Hairstyling salon.
hairstyling salon?
Yeah.
What's the appeal of
You
it?
know, it's actually, Michael, it's very simple. It's a combination of comedy and whodunit, number one. And number two, there's a great deal of improv in it, so it keeps fresh. It's evergreen in that sense. I mean, we put, hopefully the cast each night gets together during half hour, and they put something brand spanking new
The
in.
night I saw it, there were Tic Tac jokes. We're taping this before the election.
Yeah, you know, I mean, something like that. And then somebody says, we have to put Tic Tacs into the show. Where can we do it? You know, and so, you know, and of course, my job is to go in every now and then and say, okay.
You're the director.
Yeah, yeah, and I say, okay, so that Tic Tac joke now is time to say goodbye to that. We're going to put something new in.
But also, Jordan, you have a great deal of audience interaction. The audience helps to solve the crime.
I think that's another thing that keeps it really fresh.
I do too, yeah.
Sometimes they have the best, the best
You
lines
open
of
it
the
up
night.
for them to come up with the clues. And at intermission, I heard people saying, oh, this is my third time seeing it. People have seen it before because they're never getting the same thing.
You can see it tonight, and then maybe if you see it tomorrow night, it will be similar. But if you see it 6 months from now, enough will be different that you'll say, it's a totally new show.
Do you guys remember, Marilyn, what was the initial investment in Shear Madness 37 years ago? How much it cost in Boston?
It's $60,000.
Oh my God.
But
You're
you
more
know,
profitable than Cats.
But the fact is, if you look at inflation, so that would be about $600,000.
So it was not a cheap production back
You
then.
know, we didn't open the show in a barn. Let's put it that way. It really wasn't that. We were in our little basement theater where we still are now, but we hired a good advertising agency and a good publicist, and of course, then Bruce and I did all the work and answered the telephones and handed out the flyers to the hotels on our bicycles and did all of that.
So a little feel of the let's put on a show.
Very mom and pop.
That was the mom and pop, but it wasn't opened on a shoestring. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Now, Bruce, who is this playwright? Paul Portner is the author of Shear Madness. Was he sort of like from, I don't know, Kurt Weill, the Brechtian German school? He's a German, right?
Yes, you know, yes.
He's a serious theater man.
He's a Swiss citizen, and he wrote in German, and it was very much the original play, Scherenschnitt. It was
What was it called?
Scherenschnitt, which is one of
Which is what it's called when it goes to Europe, right?
and it was a very heavy German drama.
Really?
It still had the same kind of thing about where it's going to be a whodunit.
It was a murder mystery in a beauty shop.
Yes, no comedy.
How does Sharon
Were they Nazis?
translate?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you know, I mean, the way that the people would get involved. The thing that happened was when the people got involved in telling their side of the story of what they saw.
Right.
It did get kind of humorous because.
In that unintentional German way?
Yes.
Say a murder happens upstairs, and it develops that the murderer is on stage. We know that.
Yes.
And we have to just, then
Figure out.
Figure out.
Wait, take me back to this German thing, though. How did you guys come across Sharon?
Snickerdoodle.
How did you find this penny German play?
We still don't know how to spell it.
You know, actually, what happened was I was starting a theater in Rochester, the Jiva Theater, and they needed 4 American actor directors and 4 British actor directors that were going to start this new program and start Jiva Theater. And we were all supposed to bring ideas with us for what we should be putting on at Jiva. And somebody had been at the Pitlochry Festival in Scotland the summer before.
I haven't gotten there yet.
And, yeah, well, you will. Things will look up. They had done this play called Who Done It, which was the English title that the Scots had put on Scherenschnitt. And so they brought this over. And we did it at Jiva. It was the highest grossing thing we ever did at Jiva up to that point. I was only there for 4 years. And I wrote to Marilyn that summer, I said, there is a play that I'm in now that the audiences are eating up. I said, you and I should do this. Well, there's a part for you, there's a part for me. Let's do it at the Dinner Theater in Lake George, which we both had close contact to. And that's how it kind of...
Well, did Scherenschnitt have interactivity with the audience?
Yes, it did.
Oh, so
but very serious.
that's why Peter Portner gets his credit, because he thought of that good.
That wonderful, brilliant idea.
The construction of it is quite brilliant, the way the whole thing goes. And it not only is improv, but it also has a beginning, a middle, and an end as a play.
Yes, it does.
Which, if the improvisation doesn't work quite right on a night,
you know how to get to where you're...
You still have a play that people really want to know. As funny as it is, people really want to know who done it.
Oh, you want it to be worked out, because that's always my fear in murder mysteries, that I sit there and say, are they going to make it that we don't know? And I hate that.
Or it was only a dream.
Right.
Or it was the cops.
That's right, the policeman.
So Jordan, and you came in Boston?
Yep, I came in, I played Mikey Thomas, the assistant cop.
And how'd you find your way to Shear Madness in Boston?
Actually, it was kind of random. I was working at Milwaukee Repertory Theater, and Chris Tarian, who's now directing it in Boston, was directing it in Chicago and asked me to audition there. And I never got around to auditioning for him there, but then I moved back to Massachusetts, where I'm from, and then I found my way in.
Do you ever have trouble with actors who don't have an improv background, who go into the show and can't quite move with the...
Yes.
We're better with good actors than we are with good improvisers.
Oh, that's interesting. Why is that?
A good actor will be finally so into his or her own part that if something gets thrown from the audience, you answer as that person, and that creates a lot of humor in an actor that may not be a great improviser himself or trained that way.
Right.
One of the things that's a stumbling block for the actors is that, normally when you get a script, you say, okay, here's my journey.
I told Bruce before we started taping, the word journey is banned from theater talk, because all actors who don't know what they're talking about say it's been an incredible journey. So we ban the word journey, but I'm going to let it go this time.
Anyhow, but you know what you're doing, A, B, C, D, E. Well, these actors don't, because it's not until we actually discover who the murderer is that they know that they're the murderer.
Right.
Yes, well, that's a whole other thing. And we won't
Well,
give away the trick of that.
But it also has that classic sort of mystery construction of everything is different from a different angle, from a different perception.
That was what the original was also. Paul Portner's Scherenschnitt was a study in eyewitnesses to a crime and how people see things.
I love seeing these guys at the Davenport Theater where you're playing, impressing their dates, saying, no, he put it in the briefcase.
So it's the reconstruction of the crime, and you see how off people are who are really in a situation where they have to understand a serious crime.
Right.
Or remember what they saw.
Right. Exactly.
All right, well, it's Shear Madness, the comedy whodunit at the Davenport Theater.
On 45th
It's been around the world for the last 37 years. An incredible journey that this play has gone on.
So for our audiences in all these other towns, you look it up, because very likely You've got it there.
You probably. I Love Lucy, Murder, She Wrote, and Sheer Madness.
Scherenschnitt.
When you go to the Alps, though, in the summer, right? Isn't there a theater in the Alps where they?
Oh yes, in Italy, in what city in Italy? It goes
Turin
every
or,
summer.
Yes.
Yeah, Turin.
Yes.
Oh, how
And
about
do you go by Sheer Madness or do you go by the?
There, it's Forbice Folia.
Yeah, we have a lot of other names because it's translated into all of these different languages. We
In
have
Israel, it's
Rosh Meshuggah.
yeah,
In Israel. And yeah, we have
Corte
Pels
Fatal.
Corte Fatal.
fatal
A lot
cut.
of-
All right, whatever you call it, it's Sheer Madness at the Davenport Theater. Marilyn Abrams and Bruce Jordan, the creators of it and the keepers of it, if you will, and Jordan Ahnquist is in it. Thank you very much.
Ahnquist is practically the star.
Is the star.
Thank you guys for being our guests on theater.
Thank you. We
Thanks for
love
having
being here.
Answer it. How did you cut your fingers? I punched out a little orphan girl. Her glasses broke and I cut my finger. Lawrence, answer his question. I don't like his attitude. I don't answer his question. All right. When I went outside to my car, I put my briefcase in my car. Then when I went to move my car, I noticed a broken bottle underneath the front tire. And since this town hasn't been cleaned up since the Yankees were still playing, I decided to lean over and be a good Samaritan. So I leaned over, I went to pick up the bottle, I slipped on the curb and sliced my finger.
Where's this bottle now?
I threw it under his tire.
Our thanks to the Friends of Theater Talk for their significant contribution to this production. Theater Talk is made possible in part by the Frederick Lowe Foundation, the CORY and Bob Donnelly Charitable Fund, the Noel Coward Foundation, Carrie J. Fries, the Dorothy STRELSIN Foundation, and the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs.
We welcome your questions or comments for Theater Talk. Thank you